Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And today I wanted to talk about something that I thought a lot about recently because I had about, I would say, 3 or 4 months ago, a really close friend of mine. We have been friends for a really, really long time. And no, this is not my friend Tanya. And she apologized to me and then turned around and did like the exact same thing and then apologized for it again and then turned around and did the exact same thing and then turned around and apologized again. And it wasn't anything super deep. And we have since, talked it out and worked through it. I actually even told her I was going to make this video. She's like, that's totally fine. I understand, we're both in sobriety together. So anyway, but I wanted to talk about it because I think that it's a valuable lesson to learn. When I was younger, and and I had just kind of talked recently about interactions that my friend Tanya and I had had with that too, where she would say, I want you to think through, Peter, your actions instead of just apologizing for it later. And that's been a really valuable lesson in my life, is really at the moment thinking to myself, is this something I'm going to have to apologize to somebody for later? And if so, do I really want to do or say what I'm about to say? So anyway, sometimes, yes, sometimes I say, okay, right now I'm going to say what I have to say and I'll apologize for it later. But I try not to live my life like that, because I really don't want to live my life having to make an amends to somebody. I don't just apologize to people today. I make amends to them, But back in the day, everything that I would do, whether it was stealing alcohol from my dad, stealing money from my dad, having my dad come get me somewhere at 3 o'clock in the morning because I had gotten myself in a dangerous situation, having my dad, bail me out of jail, it was really always with my father. So I would always just be like, Dad, I'm sorry. You have no idea. And I would, oh, you have no idea how sorry I am. I'm so sorry, And he just really wouldn't ever respond to it. And one time, towards the end, before I got sober, we were having, I can't even remember really what the incident was, but I do remember I was sitting at his, he has this island in his kitchen, and I was sitting there, and I said, Dad, I'm so sorry, I know that this really caused you a lot of stress, and he just kind of looked at me, and he said, I don't really ever want to hear you say I'm sorry again. He said, sorry means forget what I just did. And he said, for a long time, your stepmom and I have heard those words, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but it means absolutely nothing to you. You don't really mean it. You aren't learning anything by it. I'm sorry is just glossing over this whole idea of what you've not learned anything. And what that says is that you haven't really learned how you affect the people around you. As I've grown up since those days, I've had a lot of people that have hurt me and apologized for it, and I have been on the receiving end, like my dad was. And I have had a lot of people in my life that have apologized to me and turned around and repeated the same behaviors. Apologized and turned around and repeated the same behaviors. And I think that what is really sad about that is that when I look back on the past of me apologizing to my dad, did I feel bad that I had, compromised his situation at the time or inconvenienced him? Sure. Did I really understand to some level how much he was affected by what I was doing? No. I was so selfish and so self-centered that I didn't really realize how much I was affecting his life. And so I don't really believe that these people that continue to apologize to me over and over and over again until they change their behaviors really, and that's the amends part, not just taking responsibility, but also changing your behaviors. I think what they're saying is, I haven't really learned anything from this, and I don't really care, quite frankly, right? Part of me changing was really having to look at how I had affected other people. And somebody said to me, a friend of mine in sobriety way back when said, don't apologize until you really mean it, because you're going to do more harm to somebody by apologizing to them and then repeating the behavior again. And I was like, oh my God, that's what I did to my dad, I had really done a lot of painful things to my dad by continuing to repeat it over and over and over again because, he really wanted to believe in me. He wanted to believe that I was a changed person. He wanted to believe, that I was different than I was, but I wasn't demonstrating that by my behaviors. All I was doing was saying, I'm sorry, and glossing over it. I think it's really important in our lives today that we don't apologize for things or we don't make amends to people until we're really prepared to do that and really understand the implications of how we've affected somebody and really what that means when we apologize to somebody. It should never just mean forget what I just did. It should mean I have changed, I have learned from the situation, and I will do my best to prevent it from happening again. And I think that that's why it's really important for us to really think about when we apologize to somebody. Am I just trying to Band-Aid the situation? Am I really just trying to scoff this off and get people to forget about it? Or have I really learned from this situation? And I think it's important, and it's a question that I ask myself often. In any situation where I owe somebody an amends, I think to myself, are you really ready to make this amends? Are you really in a position? Because sometimes I have some anger, some resentment, and some bitterness inside of me that until I have worked through that, I'm not really in a position to make an amends, because I might be holding on to that anger, and when I make an amends or an apology to them, I don't really mean it, because I just want to move things on. It's important for us to really think through things and to really, believe this is the right moment. I've learned from this and I'm ready to apologize to this person, and they're ready to hear it. But just because we're ready doesn't mean that they are. So sometimes we might call somebody up and say, hey, can we talk? And they might say, no, I'm not really in the mood to talk right now about this. I'm still hurt, And that's how apologies work both ways. And I talked about that in a video a while ago. But, I think that we really have to be prepared when we make an apology to somebody or we make amends to them, what that really means, what the implications are. And what we're really saying is, I've learned through this experience. And until we're ready to do that, we probably shouldn't be making an apology. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.